Welcome back. It's episode 8, but it's still week 7 because that's just the type of fucking dudes that we are. We're here to talk. It's me, I'm Jake, that's Paul over there, and we're here with Better Life episode 8. What are we fucking talking about today, Paul?
Talking about championships.
We're talking about 3 championships, 3 individual champs in one fucking UFC event. That's what we're talking.
Yeah, so a lot of times you're looking at these UFC cards and you're wondering who gets cut. Like, who loses their job tonight?
Yeah.
You know, who has 3 losses in a row and might not be in the UFC anymore? Nobody on this card loses their job.
No, they're all keeping their gig after tonight.
Top to bottom, headliners to prelims. This is a banger.
It's gonna be good. Oh, it's gonna be good. Um, these commercials are just hype. These fucking UFC commercials are hype, dude. I feel like I need to just take a protein shake and go work out every time I'm done watching these guys just fucking. Oh my god, like Nunez gets a fucking head kick on someone and it just like it just makes you want to fucking just go like just punch on a fucking dummy or something. It's crazy.
The lady goat, Nunez.
Oh yeah, I mean, who do you think's the next Lady Goat? Because
Nobody.
You don't think so? Because that's what everyone said back when Ronda was in, and here we are.
Yeah, well, Ronda got murdered by Nunez.
Yeah, but don't you think someone's gonna be able to come in and murder Nunez one day?
Not in the foreseeable future.
Really?
There are no contenders until Nunez decides it's time for her to stop winning. I think that's where we're at.
It's time for her to stop winning? What do you mean by that? When she just stops playing as hard as she can?
Yeah, I mean her last fight against Felicia Spencer.
Yes.
Felicia Spencer smashed Megan Anderson in a round.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna run it with Megan.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't see like a current fighter in the league, like the current UFC. But is there a fighter in maybe like a different that you could see cross over and just fucking pummel?
Well, that was the thing with Cyborg, is everyone thought that Cyborg was going to be the one, and then Nunez went up there and smacked her like an airport stripper. Like, that was the end of it.
Smacked her like an airport stripper. I know what those are. I'm here in Vegas, so I know exactly. That's funny. No, for real, man. What the fuck happened to Cyborg?
She got destroyed by Nunez and didn't want the rematch, and then she left the organization.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. They served her up the rematch papers, and she's like, "I'm good."
And then just rolled out, just pieced out, and called her a fucking career.
Don't worry about me.
That's weird.
But so, do you want to start at the top before we end up at the Nunez Anderson?
We might as well.
So we've got Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz.
Yep.
And as a betting perspective, you stay away from this. But man, that over under 2.5, that's juicy. I think it goes over.
Juicy. I think it goes over 2.5 as well. I don't see.
It's minus 140 right now.
Yep.
And I think we take the over. I think if you look at Jan, you saw the weigh-ins today, and that's one of the reasons we're doing the show today, is we all saw the weigh-ins, we saw the face-offs, and Jan has traps on top of his traps.
Oh yeah, no, his traps work out. That's it. His traps are doing fucking quad workouts.
You might not be able to knock him out.
He's pretty. Yeah, he's got. I mean, how do you think when you build up all that extra muscle, that like your artery ability, like for your blood to pump, do you think that increases as well?
I think your ability for your chin not to rotate 180 degrees.
That's true. Just
increases.
Cut off that supply.
But you look at Izzy weigh in at 200.5 pounds, and you know for a fact Blachowicz is going to be 230 the night of the fight. That's a different fight, man.
Yeah.
And you can see the odds closing. Like, the odds were, like, I remember when we did this earlier in the week, they were minus 250, 260, Izzy, and now they're 220.
Yep.
And, like, the bookies are getting sharp to that weigh-in.
Yep. Oh, no, they watched the same shit we just watched. They know.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's why the over-under is almost inched closer as well, because they're either banking on Izzy with too much speed, finishes him quick, or Jan's going to be way too hard to beat.
Yeah.
And I'm banking on the over, but I can see why the lines crashed after the weigh-ins.
Well, first of all, how many people are looking at these lines when they're making this decision? Is it just a handful, or is it like a room of people on a panel that decide?
I mean, I don't know how Vegas does their odds, but I can tell you there are a ton of people who had fantasy football leagues crash, and they are looking to bank on MMA.
Fantasy football leagues crashed. I mean, fantasy football to me, honestly, is just like Dungeons and Dragons for jocks.
Oh yeah, it's male soap opera.
It seriously is. I mean, I remember when there would be like a baseball draft and like a whole restaurant would be shut down while dudes are like calling out players' names and pointing at people. I'm like, I watched someone with, play that whatever the hell game, not Dungeons and Dragons, something else, Magic the Gathering, and it looked exactly like that. It looked pretty similar to what I just watched.
Yeah, I mean, all those board games, like, what is it, the Qatar, Pass of Catan, or whatever. Yeah, roast me in the comments.
Catan.
There it is. But, yeah, I mean, I guess my final thought on this is we watched Adesanya have the hardest fight of his career against Kelvin Gastelum, who used to weigh 170 pounds. You're telling me Jan is not... He's going to be there in the second round.
He might be there in, like, later in the third round, dude.
And I wouldn't be shocked if Jan threw a left kick and Izzy was shocked immediately.
Well,
that guy's shins are dense. They might as well be bamboo sticks.
Well, who is it right now with the metal shin? Diaz.
Well,
right?
Yeah, so Anderson fought Diaz with a metal shin.
Yeah. Fuck, that would hurt. You've got
that would be so confusing.
You've got just a lead pipe swinging at you. This guy's got just a lead pipe with just torque behind it.
That'd be so confusing. But I mean, Jan at 230 throwing kicks against a guy who's 200 pounds. Like, we have weight classes for a reason. It might be the one. But we can go to the co-main event. The lines have crashed a little bit. They were originally minus 1,100 Nunes to, whatever Anderson was, probably plus 700, but now she's down to plus 560. The over-under still set at 1.5. I'm still destroying that over 1.5. That's Hammer City. That's Hammer time.
Man.
Either way, I expect this fight to end in an emphatic finish. Either Nunes finishes her on the ground or Anderson knocks her dead.
So probably not a decision match.
Definitely not a decision. But it's going over 7 minutes.
So if it goes to a decision, and does Nunes have a chance at losing?
Nunes wins that.
Every time?
Every time. Every time it goes to a decision, it's Nunes. Because she'll push the grappling. If she doesn't push the grappling, she'll probably get knocked dead by Megan.
Oh, no, we could do real quick. Just
what are we doing?
Hop in. I want to talk about your quinceañera that you had today.
Don't remind me.
I want to talk about the quinceañera just real quick. How was that? Did you have a good... Was it good?
So, I leave work today. And like many times when I leave work, I'll go to the boxing gym. I have sweatpants and a change of clothes in my bag and all that 9 yards. Get about 20 minutes in the gym, and I'm told that the boxing gym is closing down for a quinceañera.
Because that makes
sense. A little annoyed. I'm confused entirely by the subject, and I wish I was lying. But from the attire of the people that were walking into the gym, yeah, that's the truth of it.
I don't understand. Did they have like a good deal on quinceañeras going on, or what the hell? Like, who picks up a fucking gym, like a boxing gym, to start? I don't get it. I genuinely do not understand.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it. I'm too. It ruined a good hour and a half of my workout.
I'm sure you only got to work out for like what, 5 seconds?
Yeah, I tied my shoes.
Yeah, so you got a little finger workout in, and you're on your way. That's all you got to be there for.
Yeah, we don't. Let's get into the next fight between Jan and Sterling here, because that's the fight that you don't want to have a quinceanera during.
No, you don't want to have a quinceanera.
You don't want to have an active quinceanera during the Jan Sterling fight. But this is a fight the odds makers have no idea. They're giving you minus money on both sides, and they're expecting it to go 3.5. Myself, I will be watching this riveted. This is going to be a big. Well, can Jan push the boxing? This guy has bricks for hands, and he has incredible timing, where Sterling has no timing and fills the gaps with his volume.
Well, first of all, just based on what I've watched on whoever like is a better grappler tends to win these fucking matches. Is honestly what these come down to at the end of the day, because the guy who's more tired can't grapple as well as the other guy. And that's just what I see, and this is I've zero professional opinion on that. I just think that when you start grappling people, whoever has the better jiu-jitsu ability on the ground is going to win that fight every fucking time.
Well, and that's I can see you're leaning towards Sterling as a Matt Serra jiu-jitsu belt and all that stuff, but the problem with Sterling is he doesn't have great double legs. He's got really good takedowns, but they're off the single, they're off the scramble, he ends up on your back, and that's not going to happen with Jan. Jan's too good in the clinch. He's too good in the open space, and one of the things that, I kind of said it earlier, where Sterling doesn't have great timing, he just fills the gaps with volume.
Right.
Where he'll throw a front kick, he'll throw a side kick, he'll throw like all sorts, he'll flash his hands up in the air, where Jan is the distance. Like, Jan decides the distance. Like, when you watch that guy knock Jimmy Rivera on the floor 4 times in a row,
Yeah.
he is at the perfect striking distance, and he doesn't get greedy. And he stays outside, he'll dodge a punch, he'll dodge a kick, he's waiting, and bang, it's over. And Jan, that's tough to do when you've got a guy with like Sterling, who's got really good grappling, but fills the gaps with nervous striking. Just jabs all over the place, front kicks all over the place. And can Jan deal with that, or will he lose so many rounds that it's just a decision victory for Sterling?
So basically, it's going to be a decision victory for Sterling or a knockout for Jan.
That's what I think Jan can win whichever way he wants. I think Sterling by submission or Sterling by decision is the prop. But the over-under 3.5, I'm picking the over.
Okay. Well,
minus 130, I know. Here we are picking favorites.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go on the over yet.
I will say the fight that I feel good about, though, that over the week that I feel better about, is Drew Dober at plus 310 over Islam Makhachev.
I gotta pull that up 1 second.
So Islam minus 410, Drew Dober plus 310. Drew Dober is a training partner of Justin Gaethje, Islam Makhachev, cousin of Khabib Nurmagomedov. So this is kind of a match between camps right now. But Dober's not the same guy that we remember. Like, the problem with guys like Drew Dober and Aljamain as well is you see them grow up inside the UFC and you notice all their flaws, but then 4 years down the line they fix those flaws and you're like, oh, Aljamain's the guy that got knocked out by Marlon Moraes. Oh, right. Drew Dober. Oh, isn't he the guy that lost like 4 years ago? Like, your memory is still there. Meanwhile, Drew Dober is knocking Alexander Hernandez across the ring with his bare hands. Like, these guys have improved.
Right. Well, obviously, it's been 4 fucking years.
But it's hard when you have that mental image.
Yeah. No.
You've seen these guys lose. You've seen them, have big flaws. And until they show themselves that they fix those holes, it's really hard to bet on it. But I think Drew Dober might be the guy.
Do you think he's gonna, like, when you mean the guy, you mean like...
I think he's the dog. He might be the dog in the night. I think he's, that plus 310 is barking. That is disrespectful.
It's barking. Shut the fuck up.
It's barking. That plus 310's calling to me.
Okay, well, as we all know from listening, that doesn't mean that anyone who's listening is going to make any money on that bet. That means that it's most likely wrong. That means that you are most likely going to lose money if you take that advice.
Oh no. Well, the free money is definitely Ray kick over Thiago Santos.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you.
That's the free money. You can't bet on 36-year-olds with double knee replacements.
You just can't. No, you just can't.
And neither is Vegas. So we're taking Ray
right.
kick.
No, this is one of those times when you agree with Vegas and you're like, you're right. That's absolutely correct. This guy's had like more surgeries than my grandfather. It's definitely time.
Yeah, but just like a grandfather, I don't think there's been a jar that has ever been made that Thiago couldn't open. Like, that guy, he's so strong, he's so bullish, but Ray kick, I think he's too savvy. I think he's got a good jab, he's got a good low kick, he's got incredibly good grappling for the division. And I think that slows Thiago down.
Okay. Well, okay. Did any of this change after watching the weigh-ins?
Not too much. It wasn't a very eventful weigh-in. The one thing that I'm very interested, Dominic Cruz came in with insane shape. That dude is stacked. Dominic Cruz came to party. And that is the truth of it. And I don't know if Casey Kenny can do it.
When is that fight? When is this?
That's the headliner of the prelim.
Yeah. Yep. Man, my site is all fucked right now. They did some changes to the MyBookie site here, dude, and I'm not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. That or I'm reading it wrong.
What's crazy is John Jones is predicting a Jan win.
Where is he predicting that? On Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that doesn't really mean anything. He'll delete that after if Jan loses. He'll just be like, "Oh, delete that. It's gone."
Right.
Well, okay. Sorry for yawning. Oh my god, it's been a long day, man. Holy shit. Okay, let's look at the next. Let's look at these. Okay, I want to talk about quick with. I'm sorry, my voice is over here now. And Izzy's past. He's done great in the past, but Izzy also has had a spotted history in the UFC, where, I've seen him get taken down by some relatively lower end guys, where then he'll get into an upper ring and then start performing much better. Is he playing to his potential? Is he playing up to the other person instead of just playing like what he's able to do? You see that sometimes with like organized teams, where like if they play a hard team, they play much harder than they do if they just walk in and play an easier team. Is there any of that in the UFC still, or do you think he just might have had some off fucking nights?
Well, I think Izzy suffers from a different problem, which Izzy suffers from growing pains. That he was a very decorated kickboxer, and until he learned grappling, he kind of had to just deal with the wrestling.
Yeah.
And when you watch Kelvin take him down, and he throws up this ridiculous triangle attempt, you're like, oh, he's a blue belt. Like, he's legitimately a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And I think he recently got his purple belt.
Yeah.
Like, you can go on Instagram right now. I think he just got his purple belt.
No, we were talking about this earlier on the last episode.
But that's what I'm talking about. It's just like, he's very good at jiu-jitsu. He understands the gi. But when it comes to Jan, like, dude, good luck submitting Jan.
Yeah.
Like, that guy, it's like we talked about his traps, dude. You're going to have to hit him with the cowbell to knock him out.
Do you think, well...
Like, I'm imagining, like, Israel knocked out Costa. Costa was way in over his head.
Well, yeah, why did he fucking sign that fight? Because I remember how many people were calling it before he even signed it. Everyone was saying, oh yeah, he'll be killed.
Well, Costa's like a really interesting case, right? Because he's a super athlete, but the problem is his camp has Henry Cejudo in it. And Henry Cejudo is the Olympic gold medalist.
Right.
Henry Cejudo was the last person to beat Dominic Cruz. So why are we betting against Dominic Cruz in the prelims? So it's like, that's my case in point with Dominic Cruz. Well, I digress. I digress. But the thing with Izzy is like, he's been fighting a ton of middleweights, but Jan could be a heavyweight, and he's beaten guys who have gone up to heavyweight.
Well, why? Yeah, what the fuck is the deal with that then? Is that just ego?
Because they look at him like he's slow. But the problem is look at Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes thought that guy was slow, called him out in the press conference for being slow, and then he got kicked into the third row.
Say, how'd that fucking go? That dude got the wind knocked out of him like twice. That fucking dude got his ass kicked.
Oh, not only that, we haven't heard anything from him since.
No, literally disappeared. Because, dude, you can't run your mouth like that and then just get your ass whipped.
Gone.
No, because you know what the comment section is going to be on any post that he makes? Hey, man, remember all that shit talk that you spoke and you got your ass fucking kicked? And honestly, he deserves it. You can't talk like that and then get your ass whooped.
It's going to be a bunch of Polish flags and fist emojis. It's that Polish power.
All the Poles are going to be like, bitch, it ain't the 40s. We got strength now. We can do what we need to do.
But that's what I mean, man. We have weight classes for a reason. You can't just show up 30 pounds underweight and then wonder why that guy broke your forearm with his shin.
Wonder why your L4 vertebrae is now in 13 pieces.
You're like, wow, he broke my arm with a kick. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, 30 extra pounds of torque is how that happened.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. Like, this move up and down, it was all fun games when we were talking about 10 pounds with Connor, 10 pounds with Cejudo, 10 pounds with Nunes.
30 pounds is a different game.
DC really didn't have to cut weight for heavyweight. But it's just like, man, this is a big champ fight.
Honest question, do you think we'll see someone get killed in the UFC?
No.
No, not at all.
I'm going to say no, because the only times in recent memory that people have died in combat sports was from severe negligence at the amateur level.
Okay.
Including the, I don't want to put anyone on blast, but a certain camp from Milwaukee recently killed a kickboxer within the past 2 years.
Whoa. Where was this? I'm going to look it up.
A certain camp out of Milwaukee had a kickboxing in-house gym. And they sent that kickboxer out in the third round, and he had a massive brain hemorrhage and died later that night.
Oh, I'm reading it now. I remember this.
It was horrifying.
I remember this.
And there's film of the cornerman holding him up in the stands, telling him you can't lose, you got to keep going, and just literally holding the unconscious body up. And they send him out for the third round. He's dead.
Oh my god, that's right, dude. Because I'm reading this article and I remember this now because this was like in 2014 or some shit.
I mean, we've been talking about this for years, and just recently we're 8 weeks into the podcast. So,
we're 7 weeks
or however many. 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm. This is our first week of 2 episodes.
Bingo.
Well, because I mean,
so much this card
you're
means.
Not really putting anyone on blast for it happened. I mean, it's not like it didn't happen.
I know that striking coach by name.
Oh, so he's a buddy of yours?
I don't want to say that.
Oh, okay. Well, there is a lawsuit pending as well, so maybe we shouldn't comment on it because the lawsuit's still pending.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, looking down the card, we got Jiu-Jitsu versus Oskar Askarov. That's, the more I think about it, it might be Jiu-Jitsu. It might be Joseph Benavidez unless he's totally shot.
Can I mention the name of the guy who died just because it's just so people can look him up if they want to? I won't mention the gym, but just the guy who was killed.
I mean, if you want.
Dennis Munson Jr.
Allah.
Unfortunate, man. Died it was his amateur debut as a kickboxer in the Eagles Club. Which is
Rest in power.
Which is not the place which is not the gym, but yeah, unfortunate, man. Fuck. That's not what you want to hear at all.
Rest in power.
So up at the UFC, obviously, is that just because it's super unregulated down at the lower kickboxing levels? There's really no regulation down there I mean, there is, but it's not like it is when you get up to the Bellator, UFC, shit like that.
Well, I think the difference is like the word regulation versus professionalism.
That's true
Where
as well.
it's really easy for like a guy that's a coach that you pay him like $200 a month so you can hit heavy bags at the gym, and you ask him like, "Hey, will you coach me?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're a champion. You gotta keep going." And you're actively brain bleeding.
Right? No, you're you're actively
Like
brain bleeding.
that's the problem.
Oh my god,
Yes.
dude. Well, I just
Well, and then you look at these guys that have individualized camps, right? Like you look at Canelo last week. The guy is the creme de la creme of boxing, and who is he training with? Nobody, just him. He has all the coaches focused on him in a very small camp, and that's why he's the best. Because everyone's focused on him. They see all his flaws and they perfect them.
dude.
And it's not these mega camps.
I actually did not realize how insane. It's actually a really big problem. How many people are dying from contact sports? Actually,
Well, I mean, think about how many high schoolers died from heat stroke for high school football.
no. I get it. I get it, dude. I get it. I'm just saying. It's just like when you see it, it's just like, oh shit. Because like MMA isn't really one of those sports that anyone really. It's not in the mainstream, really. I mean, the closest thing to mainstream that it is Joe Rogan's podcast. Otherwise, it's really not as mainstream as you think it is. You know. Like really, no one really watches it. It's weird that not a whole lot of people watch it yet. But I feel like it's gonna be one day. It's gonna like it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's gonna keep going.
Well, the reason it gets bigger and bigger and bigger is because everyone's had a karate class.
Yeah.
Like, how many percent of people have gone and had one martial arts class and think
Like,
they
at
can be
least.
master of the dojo?
Okay. Well, the second part probably 10%, but like the first part of that question, how many people have taken the class? Probably like half of everyone. Literally, everyone who's male, I should say. Females probably not, but males probably.
That's the problem. Is there are so many people that overestimate their ability in every single thing they do in their life,
You shouldn't do that.
which no overestimation. I mean, it's cool, for your ego, and it's cool for your prospects at doing anything. But when it comes to knuckles on chins and neurons being snapped from brain stems, like that is when it gets real. And you watch these guys. Oh my God! Like Sage Northcutt just got signed against Shinya Aoki. Like, are we doing that?
Well, we're doing that. I don't think
we're doing that.
Not us, but we're gonna watch it happen, and then we're gonna watch someone disappear for the rest of eternity. Like, think about that. Think about that.
Sage could win, but Sage could also get strangled to death.
Or Sage gets her fucking temple kicked in until next year, and then she's dead.
He gets mounted and grounded and pounded into a mat. Like, are we ready to do that?
I mean, not. I'm not. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, God bless Sage if he goes out there and wins.
I mean, he's
it,
really,
man.
Yeah, he's stepping up to the
If he
plate,
gets taken down, mounted, and his nose gets punched through the mat, like, we're not gonna feel good.
No, we're just not. We're not.
What? And then we look at one FCs, we look at their weight cutting, and we're like, oh yeah, Shinya weighed 170 pounds, while Sage weighed 155. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Well, to me, it's like a reminder of like high school sports when the varsity would scrimmage the JV like at practice, and it's like the varsity obviously just wipes them on the fucking floor, but it's like, well, obviously, it's an unfair match to start with. Like,
it's almost worse than that. It's like when you're in middle school and they have red stripers that can't carry the ball,
right?
And you end up in practice and the red stripers are holding the ball, and you're like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, what the fuck?
Like, I'm supposed to tackle this dude? Like, in the game, you understand you can't hold the ball, right?
Right. I'm just, dude, what the fuck? It doesn't seem like it's going to go well for the organization, either of the fighters, because one of them's going to look like a huge asshole for pummeling a guy who couldn't defend himself if he wanted to, and the other guy's going to get his ass whipped. I mean,
well, it's Asian MMA. They love this kind of stuff.
Just death?
They love squash matches.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, meanwhile, me and you are trying to decipher the winners between prelim events on the UFC, and we can't.
Right. Well, that's why the UFC is growing so fast. Every fight is like, God damn, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jake Matthews, who was the star child and Ultimate Fighter winner, at plus 170 on the prelims, to a guy who I've literally never heard of. Like, Sean Brady's minus 210 to a guy that I thought, like, would be a world beater 2 years ago.
Okay.
But sure. The other notable prelim is Carlos Ulberg, who is possibly the most attractive man in the UFC. Possibly.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, attractive as in, like, money-wise, or like he actually looks good?
Google him. Laura Sanko was interviewing him, and you could tell that she was a little nervous.
No, I'm asking, like, what you mean by that more than anything.
Like he was a model.
Okay, so, like, he has good looks is what you mean by that.
Yes.
Okay, well, number one. Oh my god, dude,
Canadian
this upcoming fight's gonna be crazy. This 259, it's just gonna be fucking bananas. It's just gonna be
Carlos
fucking bananas.
Ulberg is a beautiful man.
I'm just looking at these goddamn. Oh my god. It's gonna be crazy.
As you're going through ads, I'm just thinking of Ulberg.
I'm not going through ads. I'm on 259 and Fight Night
right
now.
Posters.
Well, 260's coming up, and that's fucking gonna be bananas. That's on the 27th.
Woo! That's a fight.
That's gonna be bananas.
Is that Ngannou Stipe?
What?
Is that Ngannou versus Stipe too?
Yes, sorry, yes, yeah, and it's gonna be fucking bananas.
That's the fight.
And it's gonna be here in Las Vegas, and it's at 7 p.m. in Las Vegas. So it's gonna be like we're gonna be able to watch it real time, not like 3 a.m. bullshit like they've been doing.
That's a party. If Ngannou wins, we're going Sizzler with the heavyweight division.
We're going Sizzler.
We're going Sizzler, like a fajita at Chili's. We're gonna send that thing out every 2 weeks. We're gonna let Francis kill every single contender every single 2 weeks on pay-per-view.
What's the difference between like why do they name some of them like 259 and some of them Fight Night, and like what's the difference? Why do they do that?
It's based on broadcasting rights. Sometimes they're on pay-per-view, other times they're on ESPN, other times they're on ABC. Like Max Holloway versus Kelvin Kattar was technically UFC on ABC 1.
That's weird.
The first time ABC's held a UFC event.
How'd they do?
They did actually very well. ABC is the home of Muhammad Ali.
Really? Wait, what? They had boxing on ABC for the longest time? I didn't know that.
Long time ago.
I thought that was NBC that had it forever. Before NBC, then?
American Broadcasting Company.
Let's see. When did ABC broadcast? Fucking.
Oh, look at this. I'm looking at the lines right now. Tim Elliott just became a pick'em against Jordan Espinoza, and he was a big dog. And Tim Elliott by submission, that's where the sharps were going. Tim Elliott's gonna strangle this dude.
I didn't realize. So it was on. It was from 1964 to the year 2000. And the first fight was between Cassius Clay, that was his name at the time. It's Muhammad Ali, everyone knows that. Cassius Clay. And he defeated...
Cassius Clay the fourth.
He defeated the former champion, Sonny Liston, in the 7th round. So, like, that motherfucker went the distance on their very first fight card. That's crazy.
And then Max Holloway's beating the brakes off Kelvin Kattar 50 years later.
And then, and then I'm reading, like, everyone is losing
60 years later, oh my god.
Everyone's, like, losing their bananas on, like, the UFC coming back to ABC. And everyone's like, is it gonna be the biggest thing ever? Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea.
It wasn't.
No, it's not. It's not gonna be the biggest thing ever. Oh, I just dropped that, my bad. Dude.
No, Max Holloway is telling the commentators he's the best boxer in the UFC while dodging punches, and the thing barely broke $1 million.
I mean, do you remember the boxing match between I cannot believe I'm blanking names right now. Filipino and black guy, fucking the money team, and
Pacquiao and Mayweather.
Yeah, Pacquiao Mayweather. I cannot.
I was in high school preaching to anyone who would listen to me that unless Pacquiao threw 900 punches, he would lose.
I was pretty sure he was going to lose that fight when everyone was kind of talking about how Floyd's more of like a stand back, wait for the perfect moment to strike, while Pacquiao was more of like a get after him and start boxing immediately type guy. And it's like, well, here in American boxing, the guy who like bounces and makes the smart punches always wins the fucking decision every time. So like it's name the last time they did.
So I don't like that, kind of description, because the thing with Pacquiao is truly special. Like, Pacquiao really is probably one of the top 5 boxers of the generation.
Oh, I mean, he fought Mayweather, so obviously.
For sure. But not only did he fight Mayweather, but he moved up to fight Mayweather. Like, you have to understand that he really is a 30-pounder. So he moved up, but I mean, he just smashed dudes recently. Like, Pacquiao's still, to this day, like a championship level fighter, where Floyd is going to fight a Paul brother.
I cannot believe that he's actually going to fight one of the fucking Pauls. That's such bullshit to me.
But, I mean, Pacquiao was the original right-handed southpaw, and that dude would throw hundreds upon hundreds of punches in a round. You couldn't breathe. He would suffocate dudes. Where you would watch these guys go in, they'd have their defensive shell, they'd, Philly shell, they'd do all these different things with their looks and everything. And Pacquiao would be like, what? What is that? You want to see 900 punches tonight? Okay, we can do that. And he would throw 3 to 9 punch combinations every single time. And that's what he would practice. Like, if you search YouTube videos right now, you'll see Pacquiao non-stop punching.
Okay, I just want to bring this up. There's from The Sun, which isn't the most reputable source,
Yeah.
also TMZ, saying as of 9 hours ago, Floyd Mayweather's Uncle Jeff has claimed that his nephew's exhibition with Logan Paul is off.
Not stunning.
So that might not even happen anymore. I mean, this is from the fucking Sun, so you can't take it with. You have to take it with a grain of salt because I haven't heard from either of the fighters yet or either of the companies. But I'm pretty sure it was because the date was like February 20th, right? It got postponed, and
I am more convinced that there's not enough publicity or media traction to generate this hype.
I mean, okay, Floyd.
That's what I'm of the opinion of.
Versus Logan Paul.
Yeah, nobody's watching that shit. So
fights
it's
50 for Mayweather, 1 for Logan Paul. Wins 50 for Mayweather, 0 for Logan Paul. 27 knockouts for Mayweather.
Logan Paul lost his last match because he couldn't help himself but lose points to the ref.
I mean, yeah, losses 1. Losses 0. It's like your first match, you already have an L, and Floyd's never taken an L in his fucking life. So like, it's
not only do you have an L, you have an L because you didn't understand the rules of boxing.
Right.
Like, you didn't understand that you couldn't push the guy or punch him in the back of the head or hit him while he was down. You're gonna do all 3 of those.
Yeah, in boxing. This ain't the UFC, baby.
No, not only in boxing, you have a professional bout in less than 10 rounds. I think they did like a 6-rounder.
That's ridiculous.
It was infuriating to watch.
That's ridiculous.
I'm pretty certain it was 6 rounds.
It's like, why the fuck is this? Well, like, it's to me, the promoters should be fucking ashamed of themselves for promoting such bullshit or even getting a card like this lined up. Are you fucking kidding me? A fucking YouTuber?
Did we not just do a rant on Barstool like a week and a half ago?
I'm aware. No, that was our most downloaded episode too. So I think I think people really enjoyed that.
Yeah, did we not just go off
straight
on
up,
Platnoy?
But straight up,
Johnny
fuck all
football.
of you. Fuck all of you setting up this bullshit. Clearly an attempt at a money grab. This isn't a real fight. Go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves, all of you. Seriously.
It's
not real. This is not real. It cannot be real.
That's why we got the real stuff happening in the UFC right now.
It's just like the fucking... You're just ruining boxing. And it's just shame on Floyd for even going with this bullshit.
By the way, did you see the shape that Leon Edwards is in right now?
No. Let me take a look.
Go on Instagram right now.
Instagram.com.
I sent it to you. Leon Edwards is in the greatest shape of his entire life, and I am nervous for Bilal. I have never seen Leon in that kind of shape. Look at that
thick.
Juicy boy.
My man is thick. What do you think? I mean, what do you think?
He smashes Bilal. It's not even close. But Leon did this, like, that's the other thing we haven't talked about. Khamzat Chimaev, Leon's dance partner for the last 3 times. Calls it a career.
Calls it an absolute... I don't think this is one of those ones where he could come back and do an amateur fight later on either. I think it's over. I think it's fucking over. I think it's Khabib over. Like how I don't even want to believe it's over, but it's over.
I think Khamzat might be one of the biggest what-ifs in MMA.
God damn, dude.
And it sucks. Like, he was at 170, he was at 185, and then what we have to deal with is Chechen warlord. He's, like, saying, like, no, Khamzat's coming back, and just putting tremendous pressure on this young man who can barely run a half mile. Like, I think it's done. I think it's over for Khamzat, which is sad, but...
It's been, I mean, that's like, it didn't have a decent career.
He had 3 wins.
Yeah, that's not terrible. He's got money in the bag. He'll be alright.
Yeah, he can go to a career of coaching, but it's... Man, in terms of superstardom, that guy was on a rocket ship to the moon, and then caught COVID.
And then caught COVID and fucking tapped her.
That was it. That was the end of it.
I mean, I've had COVID. I still can't taste and breathe very well. Like, I still can't smell things and shit. So, like, I don't know. He might have actually had some real world major complications from it, man. It's not like it's easy.
No, it's definitely not, especially if you're, like, genetically predisposed. And it would be entirely scientifically illiterate to pretend anything otherwise. Yeah, man. It's a wild disease. Nobody knows what the ramifications are for the next few years. That's why we all wear the mask, even if you're vaccinated, like your boy.
Well, you got your second shot, right?
It did.
Okay, well, I still don't even have my first one, but I do have both strains under my belt, so I feel like I have more antibodies than anyone on this fucking planet at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, who travels quite like you?
Important people.
Also true.
More important than me.
But no, yeah. What's crazy is that second dose, man. I got it, and I'm almost upset that I didn't have any soreness. Like, I could have windmill dunked the next day. Like, I would have been totally fine. No fever, no headache. The first time I got the first dose, I had a headache. My shoulder was sore for 2 days. I really felt it. The second dose, nothing.
Do you think that's just because your immune system was, like, fighting off whatever, like, it was working, quote unquote, you know? Do you think that's why you get, like, the feelings like that? Or why do you think your body reacts all weird to a fucking vaccine like that?
I think it was the nurse.
Tell me. Tell me everything.
So,
tell me everything.
The first dose, the nurse and I are talking, yada, 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 and she jabs me in the shoulder while we're talking.
Ooh.
So the soreness probably came from that. From the headache, probably just a symptom of the first dose.
Okay.
My second dose, I'm looking in the corner. I'm telling the nurse, I'm a wimp. I can't look at it. She's like, oh, that's okay. Well, 3, 2, 1. And then she pinched my shoulder and put it in, like, the meat of my shoulder. Nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything.
Because she knows how to do it properly. Dude, there is a huge difference. As someone who's had their blood taken about more times than I can even fucking count anymore, there is a huge difference. There's some ladies that I'm like, you honestly don't even feel the needle go in. And then there's other ladies where it's like, ma'am, I want to fucking drop out the bottom of this table right now. Like, have you ever gotten, like, a shoulder MRI or whatever where they have to put the ink into your shoulder and check for tears? Like, when I tore my rotator cuff, they had to shove a needle into my socket to, like, inject.
I did it for my ankle, and it was terrible.
Kill me now. Kill me now. I'm on this table, and they have an X-ray of my shoulder, and I can watch the needle go into my joint, dude, into my fucking arm. and they start injecting this ink.
Yeah,
And
the
you can
dye.
see it come out of the tear out of the back of my arm. It was the most unsettling, and my arm felt heavy for like 2 days because there was like all that fluid in there. So
Mm.
like my arm felt like really heavy for a while, and it sucked, man. I did not have a good time.
But no, I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to tell my friends, I wanted to tell the guys on the podcast, like, I suffered a vaccine injury. It's over for
I'm
me.
dead.
I can't go on. But no, it turns out that second dose, like, nothing.
Well,
Not even no symptoms, no soreness. I worked the rest of the day. I slept on my shoulder. I woke up sleeping on my shoulder. I'm like, oh no. Like, I'm going to be sore. And I wasn't.
yeah, I got mine. I was supposed to get vaccinated like weeks ago, and then it got canceled for like a shortage of vaccines or whatever the fuck. Because I was always going to be on the surplus side of things if I had extras, and they just didn't.
Well, you know the problem with the vaccine?
No, I do not.
It has to be delivered 2,000 miles an hour into the broadside of Syria.
It has to take away the hopes and dreams of all those poor children.
Like that's the problem with the extra doses.
Okay, my favorite thing ever is I'm reading a tweet from our current vice president that she tweeted out last year at like roughly the same time, talking about, I just got back from Syria and it's upsetting to see the majority of the dead are innocent women and children. It's like, now she's in charge. It's fucking Hellfire missiles, motherfucker! Woo! As long as those missiles say Black Lives Matter, they're okay.
Wait, are we a little distracted right now? Wait a second. Wait, aren't we a little off base?
No, it's funny.
It is funny.
I hope all my followers know by now. I don't care about either party. I shit on anyone who does anything. It's just who I am as a person. I can't help it. I have to shit on things. That's what I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, the reins of government have gone too far.
Yeah, so if I'm allowed to take out some diarrhea and throw it like I'm a chimp at a zoo, which is how I feel most days, then that's just how it's gonna fucking be.
Yeah, but the problem is we're making dollar bills, y'all. This MMA gambling, son. This is for real.
Well, I...
It's that time?
It's being about that time. I'm getting about 90 texts here a second. It's so funny. I remember when we...
Oh, well, explain it. Explain it to the fans.
Well, I'm late all the time. That's my signature move. I show up late and reeking like weed. That's just what I do. I show up. I take a shower every day and I put on deodorant and I always smell great, but like I can't physically go into public and interact with everyone. Especially if there's issues going on, like I've got some certain things I have to take care of. If I have to go handle those problems and I don't have a teensy bit of THC in my system, I'm gonna be an asshole to the other person, and I don't want to be that person. So I just decide to get high, and it ends up making me about 20 minutes late all the time. So I'm supposed to be...
Here's what we're gonna leave the people with.
I'm supposed to be
If
somewhere.
you take our 5-man parlay of Jan Blachowicz over Izzy, Nunes over Megan, Jan over Sterling, Rakic over Tiago, and Dominic Cruz over Casey Kenny,
You're looking
that
good.
will net you one farm for 17 and a half farms, plus 1762.
You need to explain that in English, because not even I caught up with what you were saying there.
So if you do that 5-man parlay,
Yep.
plus 1,700.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you're saying now. I get you. Yeah. No, basically, it's a really good parlay to fucking have. This is a good week. If you wanna get started, put $5 in, man. $10. Make it small, but just watch. It's a good. It's a good try.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
I mean, yeah, you're crazy, but I mean, I do what you do when it comes to MMA. I put in my money into Bitcoin. I do that. I just watch the Bitcoin market instead.
Yeah, but I'm saying a $5 bet. I'm looking at it right now. $5 turn into $88.
Yeah, you really could. Not only that, I would like to point out something again that maybe didn't get brought up on the past. No, I did bring it up. You can use your cryptocurrency on MyBookie. You can use Bitcoin to bet and get it back in a bet. Like, if you're trying to like experiment with a lot of different things, you can do all of it. Just, I mean, don't blow your fucking checking account, but you know, if you got $20, maybe throw it in some Bitcoin, transfer it over, bet it come back. I mean, Bitcoin is not going to drip below and before 40K again. It's way more likely to go to 1 million than it is to go to 30,000 right now. Like it just is. So
Yeah, I mean, that's not a market I follow. But man, I mean, I can defend this 5-man parlay till the ends of the earth.
well, let me just put this in. If you remember that first $1,200 stimulus check, if you were to put that into Bitcoin when you got it, you'd have 50 grand right now.
Hurt me.
I did right there. I just hurt you. You could have took one stimulus check and turned it into like a decent year's salary.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend just got backdated her stimulus. She got her tax refund this week.
The old stimmies.
Got backdated the stimulus from last year.
Yep.
It's man, oh man, that would have been nice last year.
Man, remember when I was unemployed? Man, I really would have loved that check back then. Not now that I have to figure it out already.
But why be unemployed when you can just throw $5 onto this 5-man parlay and pay the rent?
Why not put $5 on this parlay?
Why not put $50 on this parlay?
Because not everyone has $50 to lose, Paul.
Well, it's not to lose if 3 of these 5 people are favorites.
To get $50 and put it somewhere, a lot of people got to get food for their kids these days, man. We're in our mid-20s. We're not doing what most people do yet. We
don't have kids.
We don't have kids. We have cats and an apartment, and then occasionally we have to take we have to put new litter in and stuff. But that's about as much.
We also do have Grogu.
We have Baby Yoda on staff. He's our writer.
Grogu.
Yep, he's our
Grogu
researcher.
right here. Watches all the fights.
What's up, big guy? I like that
I
like that he has the Mandalorian necklace on him too.
Grogu watches all the fights.
And how does he feel about these upcoming ones? Is he going with the 5-man parlay?
Well, that's where we are at odds right now. As you can see the displeasure here.
Yeah, he's upset, it looks like, a little upset.
He's very upset that I'm picking Jan.
Why? Why would he why? Why would he be upset about you picking Jan?
Because that's the fool's gold. The fool's gold of the night is Jan. Because if Jan gets starched in a minute and a half, we're going to look at Izzy like he's the second coming.
Okay.
And that's the problem. We can't let Izzy do this. Like, do you know how when you see a rising star and you just have to bet against them because you just can't imagine a world where they beat your heroes?
Yep.
That's the problem with Izzy. Izzy's gonna kill all your heroes.
He's like the Game of Thrones. He's just gonna come through and kill everyone you fucking loved.
Exactly, that's the problem. He already came out and he killed Whitaker.
Yeah, he did.
He went out and he killed Anderson Silva.
He did. It was actually more of an
now he killed Paulo Costa and Yoel Romero. Like, how many more of my heroes does he have to take out?
Jan.
No.
If it happens, we're gonna have to come back on here and explain ourselves, man. We're gonna have to explain ourselves hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, I picked 42-7 in the Super Bowl, so
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah, well, I did well in the Super Bowl. People were happy to listen to me. Sorry. Hey, it was good. I told you.
How am I supposed to know the Chiefs' offensive line didn't show up to work that day?
I told you that the Chiefs' line has not been there, and you were like, I think they're going to hit the Super Bowl. I mean, they're not there.
They'll show up to work. They'll put their time cards in.
And then they forgot to clock in. They all fucking got drunk the night before in fucking Florida. Tom Brady walked into the wrong house. Did you know about that? When he just walked into someone's house? Okay, so he's supposed to be walking into, I think it was his defensive coordinator's house who lived next door to this guy. So Tom has like 2 giant duffel bags, like huge duffel bags over his shoulders. He gets dropped off by this car and just starts walking up to this dude's front door, and this guy has no idea who he is. And he's just watching him come in from the kitchen. And he just opens the front door, and this guy's like, oh my god, someone's breaking into my house. And Tom just comes in and sets his bags down and like looks up, and he's like, hey, I'm Tom, what's up? And he just like thought that this guy was supposed to be there with him at the defensive coordinator's house. Took him like a couple minutes to figure out he walked into the wrong house. Oh, I am so sorry. And just walked out and left. And That was, yeah. Imagine, like, you're just chilling, and then Tom Brady walks into your front door. Hey, I'm Tom. And, like, hey, I'm
You
I'm
know how
Jeff.
that conversation did not go how you just described it.
I mean, that was how they
Tom
described it.
Tom went in, he put the bags down, opened the freezer, did not find his avocado ice cream, and then lost his mind at the homeowner.
What do you think it was that made him realize that he wasn't in the correct house? Do you think it was because he'd been in the house before? Or do you think he just was like, man, there are no other Buccaneers players in this fucking house right now. No one's here. It's just me and this dude.
He's looking around. He's like, "Where's my nutritionist and massage therapist?
Right.
Like,
His
who
wife's
cooks my meals? Who rubs my feet? Where are these people?"
Is this all you today, man? Jam, we're on a budget. Fuck. Super Bowl. I thought we would be.
Right?
I thought we'd be getting a little extra, not on the fucking budget. Yeah, that's so great. It's so great. Hell yeah, Tom Brady. I hope he walks into more houses unexpectedly. What if it's someone who's like a freak, like they're QAnon, and they believe Tom is like in the pizza factory's basement, and they just pop Tom and he walks in the front door, and it's like this huge problem now. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
That just go way off crap.
Yeah,
That was pretty wild, wasn't it?
That was some wild boy stuff.
That's what happens. That's what happens up here. My brain just goes, and I'm just gone, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, what if there was a serial murder of quarterbacks throughout the country?
Just any first string quarterback. They already got my boy Steve McNair, okay? They're coming for the rest. I'm afraid it's a conspiracy. That woman is not his girlfriend that killed Steve McNair. That was a hitman. It's all a sting. This is bullshit.
And
Okay,
that's how
none
we
of
end
that's
it.
true. None of that's true, but, whatever.
That's how we end it.
Okay, well, everyone, thanks for listening. We'll be back in, like, a while. I just pulled up a software program, and it's on your screen now. So, just go
Hey,
ahead.
well, take my 5-man parlay, make some money.
I will take your 5-man parlay. Oh, there we go. And
There it is.
I'm gonna make myself some cash. And if anyone else plans on joining me, let me know how you did.
Meow.
Meow. Paul, it's been another good one. And we will see you all possibly next week, possibly this week. We just don't know anymore. We just do what we want now. So
We do what we want.
Yeah,
we
we're
give
just-
the people the
it's
content,
our podcast.
the content they desire.
we're in charge. We're in charge. We can do what we need to do with this podcast. We don't need to ask permission.
Isn't that crazy? We pretend to give you guys a schedule. It's like, hey, maybe we do a podcast on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe we do it on Friday.
Maybe sometimes we just get tired and we put it out at like 9:30 p.m. That's just something you're gonna have to deal with sometimes. We have other things going on.
Don't remind me of that podcast.
That one was not great, but everyone knows that it's in the
I
past.
actively fell asleep on
It's
it.
in the past. We're here now, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
We check boxes.
yeah. We're not getting W2s yet, but maybe one day we'll get W2s from this. We'll see. We'll see. We haven't gotten paid.
Support the Patreon.
All right, everyone. See you guys later. This has been Better Life with Jake and Paul. Catch you later.
Peace.